let's go ahead and give Michael Bianchi a big round of applause for his story entitled "No Diggity, No Doubt."
I wasn't sure if I was even going to tell a story this evening, but I figured, what the hell? I think I don't have a timeline in frame. I haven't rehearsed this at all, so if I bounce around a little bit, tough bananas. So I'll start out as a young man in middle school. I think if you can remember back that far, if you wanted to call a boyfriend or girlfriend, you had to call their house. You might have talked to their dad or their mom. And I've had this voice since 7th grade, so like I was cursed, so it always sounded like, why is this 40-year-old dude calling my, 14-year-old daughter? But so here's a shocker. I was a little awkward and didn't have the most confidence with the ladies. So I invented an alter ego. And I came up with this fake name. I told the story the other day. So I was like, Tony Cyrus. That's going to be my name. So I'm going to call these gals, and I'm going to ask them out as Tony Cyrus from a different school. And that way, when they tell me no, because I already assumed they were going to say no. As soon as they tell me no, I'll go into school. They'll try to cut on me, and I'll say, Tony Cyrus is crazy. I told him not even to call. He was just joking. That was like my out, because I always just assumed that, finding a girlfriend and someone to, share some things with was like going to be impossible because I'm kind of an odd duck sometimes. So you can flash forward into college, and now we got cell phones. I tried not to convert. I had a pager for a long time, but then that looked super weird because it was hard to find pay phones, and that was a whole thing. And I was a pretty heavy smoker at the time, but there was a girl in my class that I just couldn't keep my eyes off of. So I would go out front and I would chain smoke, and she was like, "You're having another one?" Little did she know I was only chain smoking. Like I was sick from smoking so much. I was only smoking because I knew every day she went across the street to Starbucks and would walk back in. So I was smoking just to see her. And I always fell asleep in class. It was 7:30 in the morning. I attended bar for a long time. And the teacher gave us an assignment. He said, "You don't have to do the last assignment if you type up your notes and turn them in." Well, I would just keep my hat low and hold my pen. Like, it was obvious I was asleep. You know what I mean? But for whatever reason, I thought this worked. And so I didn't have any notes. So okay, here's my chance. This is my in. I'm going to talk to this girl. She goes, "How did I know you were going to ask me for my notes?" I was like, come on. So we worked out a deal. I either had to buy her animal crackers or a pint of Captain Morgan. And I searched, God forbid you combine the two. But I was mad because she wanted these cheap, animal crackers. I couldn't find them anywhere, and I didn't want to give in so easily because I really wanted to, put my best foot forward. So she quits talking to me, and we ended up having another class together. She did give me her notes, and luckily that all worked out, and I was able to spend my 7th year in college being doctor, lawyer, architect. Really just a PE major, though. Talk about a degree where people are like, that's probably not a good idea. You should maybe think of something else. So we had another class together, and we started talking on MySpace. And so, yeah, right? So here it is, and I'm trying to, ask her out in a way where I still have a fall off where if she doesn't say anything, it's fine. I was just seeing what you were doing. So I threw her out a message, and I said something to the effect of, "Hey, if we're going out tonight, just throw me a line." And we go back and forth, and we just quit talking, and she comes out for my birthday, blah, blah, blah. Let's fast forward to, I think it was 2008. So we had been dating for a while, and I decide I'm going to save up X amount of dollars. We're going to go on vacation, and when I have that money, if I don't want to put it down on a car, I'm going to go buy a ring instead. I figure that's a mature thing to do. So we're on vacation, and I think, okay. So I have a couple pops late at night with one of my buddies, and we come up with this plan, and I still can't get out of my mind, you fall back on all the things you did in your life. So I fell back to 5th grade me. I was like, here's the plan. All right. I'll get a palm branch, and I'll just write on there, will you marry me? And on the back, I'll put some check boxes, yes, no, or maybe. There's no getting out of that, but it's still like, what a juvenile a-hole move is this? Like, she's mad at me because I never share my feelings and blah, 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 and I still can't even, like, verbally ask her to marry me. I don't even give her that. So we go to the beach, and she gets in the ocean. And I'm like, okay, maybe we should all get out. She's like, no. She's just dancing around in the ocean for like 20 minutes. And I'm sitting on the beach, like, sweating. Like, my buddy's got his video camera. We're going to videotape this thing, okay? So I buried the palm branch, and I buried this ring. She's like, GD, will you get out of the water already? She eventually comes up, and I was like, oh, hey, what's that over there? And but my history, has a way of following me. She goes, I'm not getting it. You buried a crab. You guys are dicks. Now, and you don't want to ruin the moment because this is like your moment, And I'm like, Jesus Christ, what, you want me to grab, And it's like, oh, crap, we're already married. But at that moment, you have all the confidence in the world that they're going to say yes, but you don't really know until they do. So you're just hanging there in limbo, It's just a very big moment. And she pulled it out, and she started to cry, and I was like, well, I buried a marker too. Like, here, you can mark, And she marked yes, and that's how I proposed to my wife. And that was the moment where I realized, the biggest doubted moment, there was still ground there for when she said yes, and that's the end of my story.